Good morning. Happy wake and bake. How are you? Are you doing great? Having a great morning? Did you take your pills? Did you pack your bowl? Do you have your smokes? Make sure you have. Keep you alive juice, or even keep other people alive juice, which is coffee. I'm not very Biblay like. I'm not. I'm very Nikki like. So, if you're ready for a wild ass experience, a wild ass Biblay experience, you've come to the right place. If you're tired of boring ass shit, boring ass Bible talk, then you are definitely in the right place. I am your narrator, Nikki K the Great. Haha. And I'm here to read these stories. I'm not here to really preach. Although some things some things I notice and I talk about, but other than that I don't preach. I read stories. Okay. And this says, woman caught in adultery. There's just one kill box right here. You see it? It's a kill box and it is only one part. And then this says 753 Jesus went to his own house. All right, hold on. Let's read what the end of this chapter says. Okay. They answered and said to him, "You are not from Galilee also, are you? Look and see, no prophet rises from Galilee." Yeah. Oh, this is proof you don't read your own book. But okay, there's not um there's not a kill box here. So, let's find out. Chapter 8. This is a kill box for no reason. And this says at 7:53 Jesus went to his own house. So, this is at nighttime. And then Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. I'm convinced this is a bar. This is a bar. I don't know that to be true, but it seems like it. Early in the morning, he arrived again in the temple area, and all the people started coming to him, and he sat down and taught them. If you watch a lot of the reenactments of Jesus, he's always standing up. He's always standing up and teaching. But the book says he sits down. He's not talking from his diaphragm. He's sitting down. So he's sitting down and taught them. So he wasn't like raising his voice. And when I read this, I always think of the Tool song where it's, he was so loud. But he was sitting down. And the scribes and Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery. How did you catch her in adultery? I bet you any money she wasn't in adultery. She turned one of these guys down. She turned one of these George Soros ancestors down. And now they're going to kill her. So, Jesus. Jesus trolls the shit out of these people. Listen. They said to him, she was sucking some she was getting strange. And it says, now, in the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women. So what do you say? You should say none of these rules are Jesus rules. None of these rules are God rules. Moses made this shit up. Moses and the patriarchy made this shit up. Right? So I'm saying, hold on. Begin. Okay. So then they tested him so they could have a charge. And Jesus, Jesus bends over. And so he was sitting down. So he's just writing on the ground. He's not even paying attention to these motherfuckers. So they continued because Jews don't know how to shut up. So he straightened himself and said, so he lifted, he was writing like this. And then he said, let one among you who has not sinned go ahead and kill her. Go ahead and do it. And then he bent back down and wrote on the ground. So he's like, I wonder if he wrote fuck you on there. So they just left her there. So then Jesus said, where'd they go? And she's like, they left. They left me to you. And Jesus is like, just don't get strange no more. Just go on and no more dick. So she left. And then Jesus continues trolling these people and is like, okay, okay. This next part is Jesus is purposely trying to get himself killed. Like, I'm absolutely convinced Jesus did this coming up shit. He did this on purpose. Jesus did this on purpose. You know, kind of like a bank robber that robs a bank. And then he wants to go out in a blaze of glory fighting the cops. This seems like this is kind of a situation like that. Jesus is fucking with these people. He's purposely getting himself killed. See what you think after reading this, right? Tell me what you think. Because I'm convinced that this has to do with why Jesus was killed. Okay. Jesus spoke to them again. He said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. You're going to have the light. You're not going to be in the darkness God don't pay attention to. Remember, because in Genesis it says God doesn't see the darkness. So if you're in the darkness, God don't see you. And the Pharisees said to him, you testify on your own behalf, so your testimony cannot be verified. Did you read your own book? Anyway, Jesus said, even if I do testify on my behalf, my testimony can be verified. Read your book, because I know where I came from and where I am going, but you do not know. where I come from or where I'm going. And then Dave Matthews pops in and is like, where are you going? Dave Matthews did not. He, he did not. And then Jesus continues and says, you judge by appearances, but I don't judge anyone. And even if I should judge, my judgment is valid because I am not alone. And then Jesus breaks into songs about these people, right? Damn it. Where did that song go? Maybe you're better off alone. Jesus is like, that song's to you guys. Even in your law, if you would have read your book, it is written that the testimony of two men can be verified. I have 12 apostles. He didn't say that. He says, I testify on my own behalf, and so does the Father who sent me. Read your book. And then they said, where's your Father? And Jesus answered, you know neither me nor my Father. If you knew me, you would know my Father also. There should be a song about this. Jews fucking suck. They don't read their book. And he spoke these words while teaching in the treasury in the temple area. No one arrested him because his hour had not yet come. So remember, this is happening at 7:53 at night. Right, because all that other stuff happened in the morning. So remember, it says, in the morning time, Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Let's make sure. Each went to his own house. Okay, so at night he relaxes, but early in the morning. Okay, this is early in the morning. Okay, light of the world. It is written, and they said, who is your Father? And his hour had not yet come. Okay, this must be sometime mid-afternoon or something. Jesus, the Father's ambassador. And he said to them again, I am going away. You will look for me, but you will die in your sin. Shalom! Where I am going, you cannot come. Yeah, because their father is Satan, and it still is. They haven't changed it. Not even a little bit. So the Jews said, he's not going to kill himself, is he? Because he said, where I am going, you cannot come. Yeah, that means heaven, you fucking Satan worshippers. And he said, you belong to what is below. I should have kept reading. So pretty much you are children of Satan. I belong to what is above. You belong to this world. I do not belong in this world. I belong in his world. That is why I told you I will die in... Hold on. That is why I told you you will die in your sins. For if you do not... This right here is how Jesus is purposely getting himself killed. He said, that is why I told you, you will die in your sins. For if you do not believe that I am, you will die in your sins. Okay, remember in the beginning when Joseph was trying to tell them, yo, we gotta fucking go. Like, we have to go. And then, was it Joseph? It might have been Moses. Yeah, it was probably Moses. And he said, how do I tell them? And God said, tell them I am that I am. Right? And then he told them, and they were like, ah! Although Jesus' real name is Jealousy. And he tells Moses later on that that is his name. My name is Jealousy, and I am a jealous God. He tells him right on the mountain before the 10 Commandments. And now Jesus is saying, I am. And that, they take that as God's name, although it's not. Anyway. So they said to him, the fuck you just say? Who'd you say you were? Because, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Only Moloch manifests to us. Thank you. Okay. So then Jesus continues and he says, I have much to say about you and condemnation. But the one who sent me is true. And what I heard from him, I tell the world. Because you guys are fucking Moloch worshipping liars. He didn't say that. And they did not realize he was speaking to them of the Father. No. He was speaking to them of God. Their Father is not who Jesus was talking about. Anyway. And then Jesus, like, when you lift up the Son of Man, then you will realize that I am. Okay. See, Jesus is purposely getting himself killed. And that I do nothing on my own. I say only what the Father has taught me. The one who sent me is with me. He has not left me alone. Remember when God left Hezekiah alone and Hezekiah was like, I don't know. And God is with me because I always do what is pleasing to him. Always. Because he spoke this way, many came to believe in him. And Jesus said to those Jews who believed in him, if you remain in my world, you will truly be my disciples. Jesus world. Shut up, Nikki. And you will know the truth. And the truth will set you free. Yeah, I learned this from a Democrat. Because they're saying it about Trump. Turns out, Trump was right. And they answered him, we are descendants of Abe and have never been enslaved to anyone. How can you say you will become free? Okay, they said this. And Jesus answered them, I'm telling you, everyone who commits a sin is a slave of sin. I'm a slave for you. That's not what he said. A slave does not remain in a household forever, but a son always remains. So if a son frees you, then you will truly be free. I know that you are descendants of Abe, but you are trying to kill me because my word has no room among you, because you worship Moloch. I tell you, I'm telling you what I have seen, and I'm telling you what I have seen in the Father's presence. Then do what you have heard from the Father. And they answered and said, Our father is Abraham. See? Ugh! Why do you people worship people? These are people of God. They're not to be worshipped. See, I think this is where the Catholics get it from, worshiping people. And Jesus said to them, If you were Abraham's children, then you would be doing the works of Abraham. But now you are trying to kill a man who has told you the truth. Yes, yes. Anybody that tells these Moloch worshippers the truth. Oh, what am I doing? Yes, yes, yes. Moloch worshippers don't like the truth. Abraham did not do this. As a matter of fact, he made very Democrat rules. You are doing the works of your father, Moloch. And they said to him, We are not illegitimate. We have one father, God. You just said it was Abraham. And then before that, you said it was Moses. So no, your father is not God. And Jesus said, If God were your father, you would love me. For I came from God and am here. I do not come on my own, but he sent me. Why do you not understand what I'm saying? Because you cannot hear my word. Yeah, because they don't want to. You belong to your father, the devil. Yes, to him. Yeah, fuck these guys. And you are willing to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in truth because there is no truth in him. When he tells a lie, he speaks in character because he is a liar and the father of lies. And he requires sacrifice of children. But because I speak the truth, you do not believe me. Because I speak the truth, you act like a fucking bunch of Democrats. Can you change me? Can any of you charge me with sin if I am telling the truth? Why do you not believe me? Because they're actually Babylonians, they're not Jews. Whoever belongs to God hears the words of God. For this reason, you do not listen, because you do not belong to God. Make them go to church. Preach. Yeah. The Jews answered and said, Are we not right in saying that you are a Samaritan and are possessed? And Jesus said, I am not possessed. I honor my Father, but you dishonor me. Yep. I do not seek my own glory. There is one who seeks it, and he is the one who judges. I'm telling you, whoever keeps my word will never see death. And the Jews, of course, were like, We are sure that you are possessed. Abraham died, so did the prophets. Yet you say, whoever keeps my word will not taste death. Are you greater? Look, right here. Another fucking sentence. Calling somebody else your father. Abe died, the prophets died. Who do you make yourself out to be? Dees? Ask me who Dees is. Jesus didn't say that. And Jesus said, if I only glorify myself, my glory is worth nothing. But it is my Father who glorifies me, of whom you say he is our God, and also your Father. You said that too. You do not know him, but I know him. And if I should say that I do not know him, I would be like you, a liar. That's what I'm saying. All these motherfucking Bible people are liars. But I do know him, and I do keep his word. Abraham, so Abe, your father, rejoiced to see my day. He saw it and was glad. So the Jews said, you are not 50 years old, and you have seen Abe. So Abe only lived like 50 years. So Abe lived a long time. You are not yet 50 years old, and you have seen Abraham. So Abraham died like 50 years from this? I don't believe that. This happened 50 years after Abe. Okay. And Jesus said, I'm telling you, before Jesus, stop getting yourself killed. Oh my God. He's doing it on purpose. Oh. Oy vey. Why? Why? Oh my God. Okay. And Jesus said, I'm telling you, before Abe came to be, I am. Oh my God. Jesus is trolling these people so bad. And they picked up stones to throw at him. And Jesus hid and went out of the temple area. So Jesus was kicked off Facebook. Oh my God. Okay. We're going to chapter 9, I think. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. So, the man born blind. Okay. As he passed by, he saw a man blind from birth. And his disciples were like, who sinned? Who sinned, him or his parents? And Jesus said, neither. It is so that the works of God may be made visible through him. I wonder how many of these people actually stayed when Jesus died, or even after Jesus left. And Jesus said, we have to do the works of the one who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. Okay. And Jesus said, While I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he had said this, he spat on the ground and made clay with the saliva and smeared the clay on his eyes. Okay. Do you remember that preacher guy? I think I've said this before. He and spit on that other guy's eyes. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. Gross. I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure Jesus, he was like, and then smeared the clay on his eyes. I don't know if I would have been comfortable with that. But okay. He said, go wash in the pool of Siloam, which means sent. So he went and washed and came back able to see. And his neighbors and those who had seen him earlier as a beggar said, isn't this the one who used to sit and beg? Gross. And some said, it is. And others said, nah, he just looks like him. And then he said, I am. So they said to him, how'd that happen? And he replied, this man called Jesus, he told me. He put stuff on my eyes and then was like, go wash. And now I can see. And they said, where is he? And he was like, some guy. They brought the one who was once blind to the Pharisees, and how Jesus made clay and opened his eyes on a Sabbath. See, Jesus is he's purposely trying to get himself killed. He knows these guys are fake Jews and want to pretend. And when the Pharisees also asked him how he was able to see, and he was like, he put dirt in my eyes and I went and washed it off and colors. So some of the Pharisees said, this man can't be from God because he does not keep the Sabbath. And others said, how can a sinful man do such signs? And there was a division among them. Okay, so the Babylonians who pretend to be Jews and the real Jews were split because the Babylonians never knew God. So they said to the blind man, what do you have to say about him? And he was like, he's a prophet. Now the Jews did not believe he had been blind and gained his sight. Why do you call them Jews? They're not Jews. He had been blind and gained until they summoned the parents of the one who had gained his sight. See, this is a thing. This is how you know these people never knew God and they're not Jews. And they said, is this your son, who you say was born blind? Does he now see? And his parents answered and was like, of course. Have we been pretending his whole life? Get the fuck out of here. Go somewhere. Get the fuck out of here. And ask him, what the fuck are you bothering us for? Ask the guy, he'll tell you. And then his parents said this because they were afraid of the Jews. You mean fake Jews, Babylonians, Syrians, but mostly Babylonians. Okay, listen. The Jews had already agreed that if anyone acknowledged him, they're not real Jews. They don't come from the 12. They come from Babylonians. And if anybody acknowledged him as the Messiah, he would be expelled from the synagogue. See, you motherfuckers never read your book. It's in your book. It's in your book. Although, I must say, Jesus came from the line of Levites. Okay. For this reason, the parents said, ask him. Don't ask me, ask him. So a second time, they called the man and said, give God praise. We know this man is a sinner. And he replied, if he is a sinner, I do not know. One thing I do know is I was blind and now I see. I was blind, now I see. Isn't that in a song? I think that's in a song. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind and now I see. It is. It is a song. And they said to him, what did he do to you? How did he open your eyes? He already told you. And then he said, I told you already, and you did not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become his disciples too? And they was like, get the fuck out of here. We are disciples of Moses. See, again, with the worshiping humans. Is this where the Catholics get it from? And it's because Moses let these other people write rules called the patriarch. So fuck you. We know God spoke to Moses. He lived with him. God lived with Moses. He lived with the early Jews. He lived with them. And the man said, this is what is so amazing, that you do not know where he is from, yet he opened my eyes. We know that God does not listen to sinners. Yeah, because they're in the darkness. Walk into the darkness. Yeah. But if one is devout and does his will, he listens to him. It is unheard of that anyone who has ever opened the eyes of a person born blind, if this man were not from God, he would not be able to do anything. And they said, you were not totally, you were born totally in sin and are trying to teach us. And they threw him out. See, acting like a bunch of fucking Democrats. And when Jesus heard that they had thrown him out, he found him and said, do you believe the Son of Man? And he answered and said, who's this guy? Who's this guy? I don't know this guy. And Jesus said, you have seen him, and the one speaking with you is he. And he said, I do believe, Lord. And he worshiped him. Then Jesus said, I came into this world for judgment, so that those who do not see might see, and those who did not see might become blind. Hold on. hold on. When Jesus said, I came into this world for judgment, so that those who do not see might see, and those who do see might become blind. Okay, Jesus, this is kung fu word magic that I don't know what that means. Some of the Pharisees who were with him heard this and said, surely we are not also blind, are we? Yes, the fuck you are. Yes, you are, because you're originally Babylonian and you don't know God. And Jesus said, if you were blind, you would have no sin. But now you are saying, we see, so your sin remains. Yeah, I don't even begin to know what that means and why the Pharisees are saying they're blind. I don't know. But I am going to say we did a pretty okay job. So thank you for watching. I love you. Take your pills and have the greatest rest of the day ever.